Hi, I'm Garbreak1, and this is Midgardia's Cool Crowdfunding Show. I'm here today again with Steve Pankatai. How's it going?
Hello, nice to see you again.
Same to you. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about Diesel?
Whew, Diesel is rad as hell, is what it is. Diesel is a new tabletop role playing game. It's a new system and a new setting combined into one core rulebook that is launching on Kickstarter on March 1st.
All right.
And it's rad as hell.
That's my favorite genre of thing. Um, so, what kind of setting is Diesel?
Diesel is the closest I've been able to describe it is a sci-fi western with cyberpunk themes. So it's set at the end of reality on this world. The dimensional wall doesn't surround the universe; it intersects it. So it's set in a region called Edge, where people can walk out of reality into where they call the frontier, which is the space between universes. And the things out there enable impossible things to happen, such as diesels, which are humans who have all sorts of robotic and machine parts incorporated into their physical body. And that's where you play.
Are, do they have to pour diesel into the parts, or what's going on there?
Yeah, the most of them do, at least. Yes, they're humans modified to run on diesel fuel, and that's there's all sorts of mods. It's a classless game, but the mods themselves are broken into classes. So we have knight mods are your defensive tank stuff, and we have charger mods and slicer and machinist and slinger. All these different kind of mods, but you can custom build your own diesel out of whatever mods you want, and you can choose however many mods you want. You could have one mod, or you could have 20 and just become like a robot person. You can build whatever diesel you want.
Is there any disadvantage to having a ton of mods?
Yes and no. So what we've balanced it with is the when you take damage, you either take damage to your metal or meat, your mechanical parts or your organic ones. And every time you take damage to your metal, you get a higher and higher chance of getting a malfunction where all your parts could break, and then you'd be, out of commission. But if you run out of meat points, you die. So if you completely mod yourself out and you're down to just one meat point and a bunch of mods, you'll be very strong, and you'll still take the same amount of damage, but you take it in a different way than someone who is mostly organic. So it's a bit of a risk reward system depending on how exactly you want to play.
Right. I assume healing up your metal points and healing up meat points is a bit different.
Yeah, it's not a health potion kind of game. There is some basic first aid and like field repair available. So if your arm blade is stuck, you can patch it up temporarily. But if something's really broken, just like if you're really hurt, it takes professional help and time to repair it, to heal, all that.
Right. Because things are rough on the frontier.
things are very rough. It's not a really friendly place.
So, why don't you tell us how the average session of Diesel goes?
Diesel is built for short, custom, and impactful gameplay. So it's designed to play with a session zero. You don't have to, but ideally you do. And in that session zero, you collaboratively, all the players and the GM, build the characters and the adventure that those characters will take. So you go through the whole process of, obviously, what are your stats, what are your mods, what sort of stuff can you do, but then you also go deeper with what were your parents like, what is your favorite mod and why, do any of you know each other, and the GM guides that through the setting So the setting is built to be kind of loose, but with like guide rails to help guide this. So the GM can say, what sort of town do you think you would be in? What uh, who might in this area, and then they can be taking notes on who these characters are and how they fit into this world, so that after the session zero, the GM takes all that and puts it together to build an adventure that is for these characters. So unlike D&D, where it's Rime of the Frost Maiden, and it's the same adventure with some fluctuations for every group, this is made for why are these characters doing this thing. So it's an action game, absolutely, but it's built to be around this emotional core of these characters. There's a reason they're doing it. There's an impact to it. Why and who they are is just as important as the adventure itself. And it's made to play, 1 to 5 sessions, and plus a session zero. It's made for just kind of get in. It's awesome. It's fun, and then it's over.
Yeah. So you don't have this isn't meant for like a 10-year campaign.
Not necessarily. It could, you could, of course, but it's really made for this kind of boom, explosive. Oh, like something that sticks with you, just a one and done slam dunk thing.
Right. So it's one movie, not a 10 season long dragging out TV series.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of fun going back to that world, like that world state that you played in with new characters, or maybe your characters, it's years later, or dealing with the aftermath from a new perspective. Like I think all of that is very cool, uh, but it's definitely made for boom. That was one kick-ass experience, and now we can go back to it later.
Right, absolutely. Um, so what are you ever seen Brave Star? Because the art reminds me of Brave Star.
Uh, I think I have. Yeah.
It's like a Filmation's last cartoon about a Native
Oh,
American like what's the word? Marshal out on the frontiers.
I could see where your head got that. Yeah.
Has
uh,
some animal themed powers and a horse for a deputy.
ours isn't quite that far. I was thinking more. Our inspiration is Mad Max meets Firefly is what I come at it from.
That's fair. And then you get some like psychedelic, edge of the universe kind of roadside picnic stalkery stuff as well, eh?
Yeah, it's made to let you play whatever kind of game you want. So the default is that sort of sci-fi western, like we're doing an interdimensional train heist, or like that sort of thing is the default. But if you could venture out into the frontier and fight interdimensional aliens, or have the evil mirror universe invade through there, and now you're in, like, you can do literally anything, because it's a place where anything can happen. Like the whole game is built to encourage you to push beyond like your normal mode of thinking.
I desperately want to run a mini campaign about the invasion from the mirror universe where everything's ninjas instead.
Hey, that's a great idea.
So what kind of horrible things lurk out in the frontier?
It's intentionally not well defined in the book. The book itself is relatively lean. Yeah, I mentioned the idea of guide rails earlier. Um, there's definitely some things hinted at, but I'm of the belief that like anything could happen out there. Um, so the in my head canon, like you can see like distant other, like just shapes, like massive planets, and like creatures of indeterminate scale, like moving out in this epic void. Um, but it's built to it's a plot tool. It can be anything that you think it should be, and that's kind of colored throughout the whole book, where we provide there are details, there are firm facts, and all these things, but it's very much, if you don't want to use those, then don't use those.
Right. Yeah, so if
It's
you want like incomprehensible non-Euclidean eldritch beings, can be that. You want giant
yeah,
bug monsters, could be that.
yeah, and that's the engine, the actual mechanics are designed to be smooth and flexible, and you could do a variety of projects with them. So this is just attached to the sci-fi western cyberpunk setting, and it's the settings there to help give everyone a shared base, so everyone has the same kind of general understanding of what this place is and how it works. But hell yeah, kit bash it. Do whatever you think is neat.
So, where on the scale of like freeform role playing to the moral project does the combat sit?
The combat is rule of cool. It's we use a d6 pool system. So the basic system is you roll dice equal to whatever your relevant stat is. So if you're trying to kick down a door, you would roll your brawn. If I have 3 brawn, I'm rolling 3 dice, plus any from your mods. So if I have a mod that gives me awesome leg kicking power, that might give me an extra 2 dice. So you roll all those dice. Anything of 4, 5, or 6 is a success. 1, 2, or 3 is a failure. If your number of successes beats the difficulty, you succeed on the thing. And the making the thing more complicated just raises the difficulty. So, one of my favorite examples is in the very first playtest. There was a whole big room. Players were on one side of it, the enemies were on the other side of it. They were shooting at the players, and one of the players like leapt up and bounced off the wall and rocketed himself across the room using his mods to fling himself all the way across this big room. And he flung himself so hard he stabbed a dude and stuck him into the wall. And then he was just tearing him apart. It was incredible. And the system is designed directly for, if a player's like, hey, can I do this cool thing? The GM goes, yes, that's amazing. Let's do that. It's not, I'm not going to look at the book and be like, hang on, let me look at the jumping rules. Let me look at the stabbing rules. Let me look at the that sounds cool. Do it. And we do that with, there's an overclocking mechanic. So all your mods can be overclocked. So you can just go above and beyond. So the mod is designed to do this. You can make it do this. And it comes with added risk, of course, but even if you malfunction, you don't necessarily fail. You can still achieve the thing, just something goes wrong. So you might, like that player leaping across the room might have, gotten his leg, made it so his legs weren't able to jump like that until he got them repaired again. But he still did that thing, and it was still dope as hell. you know.
Right, and sometimes you gotta sacrifice, parts
Yeah.
for being super cool.
Oh, exactly. And the format of this sort of short, impactful game lends itself well to, you're not hoarding all your gear and equipment. It's a short game. When the big boss comes out, it's the big boss. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna blow everything I got. Like let's think big. Let's do something amazing.
Gotta save every healing potion in my inventory just in case I
Right.
need it.
Exactly. I'm of the belief that if you end a diesel game with anything left in the tank, the game didn't push you hard enough.
Yeah, alright. Well, you have any other parts of Diesel that you'd like to bring up?
Uh, it's got a very impressive team. I'm exceedingly fortunate to have gathered a really kick-ass team. A lot of our team members are veterans of all sorts of major tabletop projects. Our Editors have worked with Keith Baker and Jim Zub on his most recent successful Kickstarter. Our layout artist is HTT Paladin, who's worked on all sorts of stuff with Hit Point Press and the Islands of Sima Una.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he's doing amazing work for this. Our mechanical designers are one that everyone has their own projects, of course. One of them is working with Morris on the Level Up 5e project. There's a whole, like, everyone on the team is like more incredible than I am. I'm so excited that I got to work with so many great people on this. I'm really fortunate for it.
I mean, no need to sell yourself short. It's
Oh, I know where I'm at, and I do pretty all right, but
step by step, walk the 1,000-mile road, man.
yeah, I got some really great teammates, so I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to bring up? Yeah, whether about Diesel or otherwise.
We have a website where you can check it out and learn all sorts of new stuff. It's runsondiesel.com. And on there it has all sorts of information on the setting and the engine. There's a video starring me of how to play Diesel that's on there. And our quick play rules should be up on DriveThruRPG by the time this video comes out. So you'll be able to check out the Diesel experience for yourself before the Kickstarter launches on March 1st.
Nice. And yeah, there should be a link to the eventual Kickstarter below this, as well as a link to the quick play rules. Yeah, open the description, please. There are things there. I do have one last question for you, Steve. What's your cat's name?
I noticed her walking around the background.
Yeah.
Tickle.
Sorry?
Tickle.
Like the echidna from Sonic the Hedgehog? Tikal or?
Teekl. It's the name of the Clarion the Witch Boy's cat from DC Comics.
Man, I haven't thought of Clarion the Witch Boy in a while.
I love Clarion, so I got a black cat named her Tickle.
That is completely reasonable. Yeah, for a bit she was sitting under the table just watching you.
The one in the comics is technically an orange tabby, but I went with it because I love Deagle. So. Before a comic nerd yells at me.
Well, that is like half of my audience, including me. So you know.
All these shelves back here are comics. I have many comics. So yes.
Nice. Yeah, I sold most of my collection a couple of moves ago. Unfortunately, made 400 Canadian dollars selling them, which is I had a lot.
Yeah, they're a giant pain to move, so I don't blame you at all.
Yeah. What I have left is sitting in boxes under the table back there. So I was just like, I'm gonna move again soon, probably. We'll see. But yeah, Steve, it's been excellent talking to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
And for everybody watching, have a good night.
Go buy Diesel.
Buy Diesel.